Hey there, Sart here. We've got a new unit and a new Clash of Wills coming up this week, so of course I'm going to do a Clash of Wills prep video because there's not much else to do. So might as well just do a little bit, just share some of my thoughts. I'm going to try and get through this one a little bit quicker than I usually do, but it's still probably going to be a long video, so I always put timestamps in my videos. Feel free to use the timestamps to jump around to different sections. I break them up pretty well, I think, for these types of videos. So if there's something in particular you want to know about, like if you just want to go straight to the cow boss, or you only want to know my thoughts about the new unit coming out, or if you just want to get straight to like which units have the best killers or the best support or the best breaks, and you can kind of just skip around and see what you want to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to it. I'm going to start with the new unit, which is Winged Officer Celeste. I'm on the fence about this unit. Like, I want to pull, because I think as a global exclusive Neovision Plus unit, she already, just based on what they told us in the live stream and what we see here, she's already an improvement on what they did with Xyrus. I feel so bad for Xyrus. Like he's lore wise, he's one of my favorite units. And so, but he got done so dirty. Like his NV Plus is just so bad. This unit, however, seems to me at least that she has a little bit more going for her. She seems like she's a bit like Ong and Xyrus put together, where she has sort of the support package that Ong brought to a water team, but then also brings the NV plus damage that Xyrus does to the water team. She, of course, is a light elemental NV plus. She does have some lightning support, and that's actually one of the things that really makes me want to pull for her. I was so close to pulling for Ong back when he came out, when they said in the live stream that he was going to be a water and fire support unit. I knew he was going to be water primarily because that was clearly his primary element. And they mentioned the 70% water field. I was so hoping that he would also come with a fire field. If Ong had come with a fire field, like a smaller percentage, like a 70-50, like this unit has a 70-50, where it's 70% light amp, 50% lightning amp. I love that. I love the dual element, the flexibility of having dual elements. When Ong came out and it was just a 70% water, no fire amp, it crushed me. If he had that fire amp on there, I probably would have pulled for Ong. Now, am I going to pull for this unit? I am seriously on the fence about it. If we didn't know what we know about like Cloud, Tifa, Clive that have come out in JP, the new NV Plus units that have come out, I would probably pull this unit. If I didn't know anything about Cloud, Clive, all that, the fire meta that's going to basically just blow everybody else out of the water, I probably would have gone for this unit. Now, I don't think I can make a case for pulling this unit. Clearly, I have plenty of Lapis. I've been saving up for a long time. Hio was the last unit I seriously pulled for. That was months ago, back in November. I want to pull for this unit, but I can't. Like, I just can't. Knowing what we know about the future, I just cannot make a case for it. She's got a lot of fun things going on in her kit that I think are a vast improvement on Xyrus, like I mentioned already. So, I would like to support Gumi in making better NV Plus units. We of course need to see what she looks like after the data mine, see what her numbers look like, see what her support kit actually looks like. But I feel like she is a step in the right direction, and I want to support that so that they continue moving in the right direction. But anyways, I mean, I think I could go on and on about back and forth, going back and forth. I would be very happy if I pulled her on ad summons. I might throw some tickets at the banner. I've got like 50 tickets lying around. I might throw some tickets at it and just see if I can pick her up. If I pick her up on ad summons, I'll at least do enough pulls to get her shards. But I don't think I can justify going to pity. But yeah, I don't know. I do like some of the units that are on her banner. Like, I wouldn't mind having a Metzi for a Water Breaker Imperiler. I certainly wouldn't mind having Prompto. You know, he's a great light breaker with an Imperil field. So, you know, there are some nice units. I honestly don't want a new Guardian Titus or Cecil. Cecil's a great magic tank, but I already have him at EX3, so I don't really need him. Those two units are kind of trolls in my opinion, but Metzi and Prompto are definitely good. So I don't know. It's going to be like a game time decision kind of thing. It also really depends on the Clash of Wills boss, and if it's a cupcake and I'm able to rank one with my old school light team, then I may just say forget it, and just let it run on ad summons and see what we get. But the nice thing, probably the nicest thing about this unit is that she is a true Brave Shifter, not a Trance Shift, and it looks like she has all of her support in her normal form, which I like. I like that, even at EX0, if you're just using her for like a leader skill and her support skills, you have that. Even at EX0, you can start using that right away. And then it looks like probably, my guess is like her big damage, like her NV plus, 500% LB buff, and the big LB damage is going to be locked to her Brave Shift form. That is my guess, just based on the tags that you see here. So she's got attacker, support, and normal, strictly attacker in her Brave Shift form. So she's probably going to lose some of those support skills. The one thing they didn't mention is whether or not she'll provide any killers for the party, kind of like what Ong brought to the party. He brought some killers, which was really nice. They did not make any mention of that. So if she doesn't have any kind of killer support, that will also probably be a non-starter. So if she's going to be a true support unit, she needs to bring some killers to the party as well. Her vision card is crap. Don't bother with it. She does have, when she releases, she will have the best EX ability for units out there, with a 500 flat attack for Clash of Wills category units. That's huge and global, because the Clash of Wills category units is a huge category, and it will be the best EX ability that we have out there. Still don't have anything to use on Tifa though. I mean, I think it's hilarious that Tifa literally has nothing you can use. She has no EX abilities. They haven't given us any of the free ones. She has nothing. Can't use anything on Tifa still. Whatever. I do love her STMR. That it's not a weapon. That's of course great. I know the meme is always like, oh, it's another two-handed weapon, but I do like it that it comes with chain cap boost and 2 100% killers. The only problem is that the Beast Machina killers are already covered by Irvine's STMR. Irvine's a 5-star unit. I have like probably 6 of them, and that also comes with 100% Beast Machine. So I would have liked some different killers, maybe like. I mean, obviously, we'd have to have one of those, right? So maybe like Human Machine or Human Beast instead of Beast and Machine, because there's also A2's STMR, which does the exact same thing, except it's 100% TDH, 100% Beast and Machine killer. But it's another source of 100% killers, which you can't really complain about. I just wish that it was human and one of the other ones. Doesn't really matter which one it is. Her TMR is only for her, and it is a great sword. Assuming that she can equip other weapons, though, there might be, like, if she can equip katanas and you have a good katana imperil on the party, 40% or higher, you'll want to use the Dark Vision katana on her. I'm not sure what other two-handed weapons are out there. We don't have a two-handed Dark Vision's greatsword yet, but if one does come out, that'll probably be a better equip for her than her own TMR. So just keep that in mind. Her leader skill is quite nice, 1000%. In Clash of Wills, it's the same thing as Ong's, 1000% attack and mag, 750 defense and spirit. But what's nice and how it improves on Ong's leader skill is that outside of Clash of Wills, it's a 750. That's still low based on, like, you know, if you're a try-hard and you want to do well in Dark Visions, that's still low. Like, most of the leader skills you want to take into Dark Visions are now at 1000%, if not higher. Like Sophie, for example, has an 1100% water leader skill. But still, Clash of Wills is a huge category that includes a lot of our favorite units, and having a leader skill that still is very competent, works very well outside of Clash of Wills, is nice to have. So I like that. I hope they continue improving on that. EX ability, that's probably just like what she gets at EX2. And then the skills they have listed here, they only listed 2. They had a lot more on the live stream. So this dazzling neon is the skill that does the amp field. At least I'm assuming so. It looks like it's going to be an on-demand skill based on the icon there, as opposed to like a cooldown or a Magnus. If it was a cooldown, it would be the blue circle. If it was a Magnus, it would be the red one like you see below in Bright Future. So it looks like that's going to be an on-demand field, which is nice. And as they mentioned in the live stream, it is a 70% light and 50% lightning amp field, which I like. I like having dual elements that give you a little bit of flexibility in team composition. Bright Future is a rolling amp similar to like Sylvie, Melissa, Malphase, all of those units. Except I believe they said that this one can be used outside of Clash of Wills, which I like. I like it when these rolling amplifies are not locked to Clash of Wills, which they've been doing that a lot lately. What they did lock to Clash of Wills, however, is her 150% self amp. That, you know, point of contention there, I suppose. You know, we know that Cloud, starting with Cloud, over on the JP side, NV Plus units start getting their own 150% amps, but I don't think we should expect that currently in Global. Like, we shouldn't expect Global to go ahead and start doing that now. I think it's nice that we have it in Clash of Wills, because that's really the only content that we have. It's the only thing we know that Gumi will maintain on a regular basis. And we know that we're going to be using this unit in Clash of Wills. If we pulled for this unit, it's a unit that we will use in Clash of Wills with some frequency. So I don't mind that. I like that the rolling amp is useful outside of Clash of Wills, though, because then you can start using some non-elemental units like Hio, for example. You can use Hio in a light team in like Dark Visions or Vision World, because you have this unit that can provide the amp. So I really like that. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of on the fence about pulling for this unit, because I like that utility. I'm of two minds on the rolling amp part, because we have units now like Sophie, for example, who provides the 100% party amp for 3 turns. That's really nice, because then you can do 2 or even 3 bursts at 100% amp with that kind of setup. But on the flip side, what I do like about the rolling amp is that it reapplies the amp each turn. So if you are dealing with a boss that dispels you, if you use that 100% amp for 3 turns, like on Sophie, and the boss dispels you, it's gone, and you never get it again. What I like about the rolling amp is that if you use it on turn 1 and the boss dispels you on turn 1, that amp and that imbue gets reapplied on turn 2. And then again, if the boss dispels you on turn 2, it gets reapplied on turn 3. So There are pluses and minuses to those, right? So even though it's only one turn at the full 100%, it does have some advantages over the 3 turns of 100%. So I'm kind of going back and forth on that one. Anyways, that's a lot to say about this unit, all just to basically say, you know, I like the way the unit looks just at a glance. Again, gotta wait for the data mine and see what she looks like after all the numbers are in, but I like the way that she looks just at a glance and what they showed us in the live stream. The sprite is beautiful. She's exactly the kind of unit that I like to see in this game. I wish they would give us a story event or something to explain this character, because it seems like she's got a pretty cool backstory, but Gumi just doesn't do story events anymore for their global exclusives, which is very, very sad. But she seems like a really cool unit. I would love to have her because my only NV Plus unit is Tifa. Would be nice to have an NV Plus unit on my roster besides Tifa, especially one that's sort of designed around Clash of Wills. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Celeste. I know that was a lot just to say, I don't know, but we'll just have to see how she looks. If the data mine looks great, I might pull for it. I might just say, you know what, F it. Life is short. You know, I haven't pulled for anything in a while, and I would like to pull for a unit that looks cool just to support a good unit design. We'll see how she looks. All right, now on to the Clash of Wills. So once again, we have been given a recycled sprite. The big news, of course, if you didn't catch the live stream, the big news is that you see that note where it says, please note this Clash of Wills does not have the Mania mode feature. We are going back to the classic Clash of Wills, not Clash of Wills Another. But they're still giving us, copy pasta sprites. This is the Centaur, which is a very common enemy sprite that we see in the game. They've, of course, tried to spruce it up a little bit. It is a beast, human, and machine. So, go ahead and start thinking about units that have killers to that. I will, of course, go over some units, some top units for those enemy types. The weakness is water, light, and lightning. There's, of course, always debate on which one is going to be, or which ones, I should say, are going to be the main weaknesses and which ones are going to be neutral. I will note that this is the first time that we've seen only 3 weaknesses in a while. It's been a while, I feel like for the last, half a dozen Clash of Wills, there have been 4 elemental weaknesses, usually 2 main and then 2 neutrals. So we only have 3 elemental weaknesses on this one. So, it's possible they could all be main weaknesses, meaning a 40% innate imperil, or it could just be 2 main and 1 weaker one. I will note that, back in the day when they had 3 weaknesses, there was 1 main weakness and 2 minor ones, where it was one was a 30% innate imperil and the other 2 were a 15% innate imperil. I don't know if they're going to go back to that style with the 3 weaknesses, where there's only 1 main weakness, in which case, based on the unit, my guess would be light is going to be, light is for sure going to be a main weakness. There's no question about that, because the Clash of Wills unit is a light-focused unit. So we know light is going to be one of the main weaknesses. The question is, will water be a main weakness along with it? Will lightning be a main weakness along with it? Or will water and lightning both be sort of minor weaknesses? I'm interested to see how they do it, because that is actually the more classic form of Clash of Wills, as opposed to, back when they only had 3 weaknesses. We'll just have to wait and see. It says it uses water and light physical attacks and non-elemental magic attacks. So right away, bring a magic tank. If you see non-elemental magic attacks, you better be bringing a magic tank to this fight, because unless the boss's non-elemental magic attacks are so weak that your team can face tank them, which could be totally possible. You know, you bring a unit like Melissa, who can provide your beast and human mitigations. She can provide the 80% general mitigation for your party. She can provide, you know, the 75% magic mitigation. It's definitely possible that the team might be able to face tank the non-elemental magic attacks, and then you could bring a physical tank. I highly doubt that. But that's just where I'm standing. My mind is already made up. I'm bringing a magic tank, and that's that. The physical attacks, you'll either use Mirage to avoid them, you'll use elemental buffs to negate them, or you will imbue the boss with a unit like Melissa, for example, and basically just neuter the boss that way. All right, it says it buffs and grants self Mirage. The only thing that would make me concerned about that is if the Mirage is non-dispellable, because you can bring a unit with a perfect dispel and get rid of Mirage stacks easily. There was one boss, there may have been like one or two bosses that actually had undispellable Mirage, and you literally had to eat away their Mirage stacks, in which case you bring units like Kaito or Sylvie, whose units have, you know, their chaining moves have multiple hits. Like Kaito has a move who's like one, you know, the one action actually does 4 separate hits, so that takes out 4 stacks of Mirage, things like that, to sort of get around that. But hopefully they'll be dispellable and you don't have to worry about it. Obviously, it's going to reduce your water and light resistance, so be prepared for that. Reduces the resistance to and inflicts paralysis. So we got to make sure that we are immune to paralysis and bringing an ailment resist buff on the party. Okay. Counters if not dealt water or light damage. Notice the element that is missing from that. It does not say counters if not dealt lightning damage, which means if we take that as not an error, and that is, you know, we take this as 100% fact, then that means a lightning team is already out of the gate going to have a problem, because a lightning team will not be able to seal the boss's counters. You would have to have somebody on the team as like a dedicated sealer unit with like a water or a light weapon equipped, that they make sure they hit the boss every turn with water or light. So that could be a huge clue that lightning is going to be a neutral element, or definitely a minor weakness, because why would you bring a lightning team if it's not even going to prevent the boss from countering you, right? The thing they don't mention on here that they mentioned in the live stream is that if you do limit bursts on certain turns, it will prevent a boss's, like a big nasty attack that the boss is going to do. So do keep that in mind, that there may be some LB strategy there, you know, where you have to use LBs on a certain turn. We saw that on a boss recently, but we've never seen anything quite as complicated as Morturum, the castle, the undead castle from, I don't know, years ago. Had one of the most complicated AIs where you had to use LBs on very specific turns to avoid what was basically like a nuke attack that was like a guaranteed wipe on the party and would just ruin your whole, you know, your whole run. We've never seen anything as complicated as that, and I don't think we ever will again, because, you know, just based on what we've seen in the last few Clash of Wills, the developers on Clash of Wills AI have pretty much checked out, and they're making them very, very simplistic. And so I don't think we're going to see anything that complicated. So to give yourself an extra boost of morale each turn, you can add water or light element. Another thing that it would insist or insinuate that water and light are going to be the main weaknesses, and lightning is just going to be the red-headed stepchild. So just keep that in mind. Also boost water and light resistance, because the boss does water and light attacks to you. So of course that's going to be the helpful morale action. They did announce some new Celestite, high Celestite gear. There's the high Celestite Crown of Will. And you know, these are, again, the base stats on these are kind of meh, but these at least have a couple of different and interesting abilities on them. So the crown has an HP restore, an AoE HP restore, AoE Revive, and an AoE Re-Raise as a one use on a cooldown. And that basically means you can turn any unit into a healer with a re-raise. You can put it on your tank because it's got somewhat decent defense and spirit stats on it. You put it on a support unit that doesn't normally have these types of skills on it, and boom, you've got a decent sort of healer re-raiser when you need it. It does have some decent passives with 200% HP, so that's kind of nice. I personally like the robe because I like this use ability. The passives are kind of like, yeah, whatever, 100% HP MP, that's not so bad. 200% defense and spirits, it's kind of nice for either a support unit or a tank with those passives, but tanks usually hit their passives pretty easily, so I'd probably use it on a support unit. But I love this Gilded Purification ability that removes some negative status effects and remove some negative status effects and remove some status effects from all allies. The wording there is a bit confusing. What that says to me is it's a perfect party dispel. So if the boss has done big imperils on you or breaks or anything like that, this will remove those status effects from you. So it's nice being able to have that basically on any unit. It is on a 5-turn cooldown, so it's not something you can use like on demand, but being able to put this on pretty much any unit, well, assuming it's a robe, so maybe not any unit, a unit that can equip a robe, obviously. But putting this on a support unit that doesn't otherwise have that ability makes them, is kind of nice. The Bracer is probably the least exciting of the bunch. They mentioned in the live stream that the ability is increase the duration of LB damage, and a lot of people have been saying, well, that's probably intended for NV plus units that have this 500% LB buff, and so to extend that so that your NV plus unit can deal extra damage, or like do another burst with the big LB buff. So we'll have to wait and see what it actually looks like, but that's sort of the least exciting to me. Most exciting to me is the robe for that ability personally. We do get a new Obnixus shop with some new units and new stuff. Right away, you see Abigail there at the top. I can't tell you how many people have said, oh, what do I do if I don't have Abigail? Sorry, can't complain about that anymore. Get her. If you don't have Abigail, pick her up. If you don't have her to EX3, get both copies of her so you get closer to EX3. Abby, you will never find another magic tank in this game that does what Abigail does, and I doubt they're ever going to release another one that's any better than her. We know we're going to get Wilhelm eventually, but he'll probably primarily be a physical tank. He'll probably be like a physical version of Abigail. You're not going to see another Abigail ever. So if you're just like waiting around saying, oh, they'll release another magic tank one day, no, not going to happen. All right, pick Abigail up, get her if you don't have her, or if you don't have her to EX3, she should be your priority on this list, hands down. Sylvie is also a great unit. I love my girl Sylvie. She's a bit older now, but she's still, I still use her in Clash of Wills. And so she definitely has her utility. She's got three 250% killers with 150 to the party, to like demon, stone, and insect. So, if any of those ever pop up in a Clash of Wills, she's definitely great for that. She, of course, has the lightning and the earth rolling amps. She's got tons of support utility in her kit, and she's good for morale generation. She's still a great all-around support unit, still used to this day. So if you don't have a Sylvie, she might be another great pickup for you. The rest of them are meh. Ace is a light elemental damage dealer. Whatever. Fledgling Warrior is a tank, but you'll never use him. He's got a great STMR, however, for physical tanks. Emperor is a wind breaker. Ninja Edge is a lightning breaker, but Edge is sadly still has not received his crown upgrades and thus is total garbage. The two new materias are both really nice. Gleaming Rain is sort of just a different version of the Scorched Earth that we got last season. So it's another 50% HP materia with 80% resist, this time to water and light, whereas the last one, Scorched Earth, was fire and earth, and restores MP 5%, so 5% MP refresh. Really, really nice. 80% elemental resists are great. This one, of course, is perfect for this upcoming Clash of Wills. Just makes gearing easier for elemental resists on your units. I would definitely pick these up. Same thing with this Escape Artist. 50% physical evasion, highest physical evasion materia or gear that we have in the game, with the exception of that one robe, the High Celestite robe, which has 100% physical evasion on it. But no one's going to get, I don't think anyone's going to actually craft that. But this is fantastic because you can put it on anybody for an immediate 50% physical evasion. A lot of global exclusive units come with an innate 50% physical evasion. So if you're trying to build an evasion unit, boom, you've got it right there. Otherwise, this just makes it so much easier to build like a provoke evasion unit or something like that for content that requires it. So definitely pick up at least one of those, if not both of them. We haven't really had any content where you need to build like a full evasion team in a long time, but this definitely makes it a lot easier to get there. And they haven't changed anything since last Clash in the scoring criteria. We're back to sort of the classic, 10 turns to get it done, total morale gained, so you don't have to worry about, even if your final morale value isn't at 200%, as long as you've gained enough morale throughout the fight, you should be fine. And then the normal number of effective attacks, max chain, max damage, those are all, they've been there since the beginning. So nothing shaken there. And that's pretty much it for the Clash of Wills rundown. So we can go over some of the units real quick. Like I said, I'll try to do this quickly. I know this video is already getting long. So we'll go in here. I just realized I forgot to finish farming. I still got the EX coins. I never finished farming the last one. Wow, that's how much I cared. That's how much I cared. I didn't even finish farming. All right. So the party that you see in front of you right here, this is my my hopeful rank 1 team. I don't have enough water units. I don't have very strong water units, so I can't field a water team. Light is probably my strongest of the elements, and as we kind of saw based on the news, lightning is kind of a non-starter. Like, no one's going to be using a lightning team. I was hoping I could use a lightning team just to sort of give myself a challenge, but if I can't seal the boss's counters effectively, then that's pretty much a non-starter. So this is my initial rank 1 team that I'm looking at. Tyvis as the leader, 2B. We've got A2, Melissa for the beast and the human killers. And then 2B brings the machine killers for the party. Abby, of course, to tank. Tsukiko is there just as like a general support unit. She can be there to remove imperils. She, of course, has the light imperil field. Tyvis will bring the LB damage field. And then Tyvis, of course, does, brings the big boy damage. I'm hoping that this will be enough. A2 is clearly the weakest link on this party. If I pull a Celeste, either on ad summons, or if I just decide to say F it and I pull for her, she will clearly go into A2's spot. She'll just slot right in there, and she will be our leader for this Clash of Wills. And but otherwise, this is the team that I'm sticking with. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, obviously I'll have to make some swaps. I will show you, I also have a first turn kill team that I plan to use just to climb the ranks up to level 99, and hopefully this team will work for me all the way up to level 99. So Hio and Frosty are, still my top damage dealers. If I could have somehow fit Tyvis on here, I would, but without a leader skill, just wasn't worth it. So Hio and Frosty are it. They are going to be the only ones dealing damage in my FTKO. Beryl is here to do the human and the beast killer. and also to do arcane supplementation for the 450% full buff and 350% LB damage buff. Kaito is there, of course, for the machine killer, as well as to do the breaks, the perfect dispel, and to roll back any undispellable defense and spirit buffs that we might need. Tsukiko is there to imbue us with light, to imperil light, and to do the imperil field. And then lastly, we have Dagger. She is literally just here to summon Alexander for the 50% light amp field. Obviously, like I said, if I pull, what's her name, Celeste, she'll get slotted into Dagger's spot. I could then even bring Tyvis at that point. So yeah, there's some room for swaps there. But this is the team I plan to use initially as my level 99 first turn kill / farming team, whatever you want to call it. All right. So I'll run through some mag tanks that might be good for this one. I'm not going to talk about physical tanks because I don't think anyone's bringing a physical tank to this one. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. So as for magic tanks, Abigail, still number one. All right, if you have Abby, there's no reason to bring anybody else, unless you need Elena's leader skill. Elena is on this list because Elena does have some mitigations, but Abigail, like, if you don't need Elena's leader skill, bring Abby. There's no reason not to. She's amazing. Bring her. You'll be fine. All right, she will keep your team alive, and you will be just fine. I do want to say that Snow could actually be useful, maybe on like a budget clear. I doubt he would make it through a rank 1, but I don't know. It depends on how squishy this boss is or how hard the boss hits. But I do want to note that Snow does have, so he of course has his 90% self mitigation, which is huge on its own. But he also has 50% human machine mitigation for all allies, and that's both physical and magic, which is pretty awesome. So definitely keep him in mind for that. Even if you're just doing like a level 99 clear, you know, and it's taking you more than one turn, he could be a good tank to bring into this situation. Cecil, of course, you know, kind of honorable mention here. I really only mention him because if you're bringing like a light team, maybe he would work well for you. And he does have machine mitigations, just magic mitigations for the party. But, you know, he does have machine magic mitigations for the party. He, of course, has breaks. But other than that, not really anything going for him. Elena's, of course, a decent choice because she's got human killer. Sorry, not human killer, human mitigations. So she does have human mitigations, and she does have the both physical and magic human mitigations. Not full uptime, so keep that in mind. But if you have someone like Melissa, could potentially maintain that with full uptime. So yeah, I mean, and she can deal some damage. It's not very good. She does have her own personal light imbue. So she can deal, you know, she can be a light damage unit for you. Yeah, just something to consider if you don't have other tanks. I'm putting Melia on here as a meme, mostly because I want somebody to do a clear with Melia as the magic tank. And the reason why I have her on here is that she actually does have beast and human mitigations. They are, of course, terrible. Is this the one? No, that's not the one. Oh yeah, here we go. So her cover comes with beast and human magic mitigation, only 35%, which is absolutely dreadful. But yeah, like honestly, bring Melissa on your party, and she already automatically does better than that. But I just wanted to put her on here as a bit of a meme, and I challenge somebody out there to do a clear with Melia as your magic tank. And that's a rank 1, by the way, not, you know, level 99, whatever. But if someone can do a rank 1 with Melia as the magic tank, would love to see it. All right. Next, I'm going to talk about some units with that are helpful in the killers department. I want to mention Ling first and foremost because Ling actually has killers to all 3. Where are her killers? Oh, it's in her brave ship. That's right. So Hunter Stance is a beast killer, assassin stance is a human killer, and mechanic stance is your machine killer. She can also imbue and imperil light for the party. Now, you know, is she going to see use in a rank 1 clear? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if you need it, because she's, you know, a unit most people probably have EX3 by now, and you need it for the EX levels, keep her in mind. I mean, she's got all 3 killers right there, which can be, you know, a pretty big improvement on your damage. They're only 150%, but when you have it to all 3, that's pretty nifty. Plus, she's got tons of Mirage in her kit. We know the boss is going to be throwing physical damage at us. She could be miraging everything that you need her for. And so she's got a lot of cool things going on in her kit. Don't discount her for this Clash of Wills. She could actually be an MVP here. Of course, Melissa, I mean, Melissa is on here like every... It feels like Melissa's on here for like every Clash of Wills recently. But yeah, she's got Beast and Human killers, Beast and Human mitigations, and then all the other support stuff she's got going on in her kit, morale generation, out the yin yang, and you know, she's just really incredible all around unit. Doesn't even really need to be said, but yeah, that's why she's here. I do want to point out Nora also has Beast and Machine Killers in her kit. She's probably not going to be as useful for damage since Lightning is kind of a non-starter seemingly on this Clash of Wills, but she is non-elemental. She's an imbuable mage, so you don't have to go Lightning Element with her. If you want to bring her for the Beast and Machine Killers, as well as she does have the nice ability on her SLB that gives all morale LBs a 50 times mod boost, which is nice. It also comes with a full buff. You know, her own personal damage is crap, as we all know, but if you want to use her for the killers and for the LB mod buff, and you know, just as like a chainer that does some side damage, definitely keep her in mind for this one. All right. Fina Dark Lineage, she's the wrong element, but she does have Beast and Machine Killers in her kit. And so she can still be useful, probably not in a rank 1 clear, but you know, if you're stretched looking for a good killer buffer unit in like a level 99 clear, keep her in mind. Deuce may honestly see a lot of use in this Clash of Wills. She's got the killers and the amp field, so she does do machine and human killer, and she does do the light amp field. So if you are just looking for a good amp and killer buffer, you know, boom, here you go. So I know she featured in one a while back where she had all 3 killers on a light team, so you could probably use her again in similar fashion. Fina, the Return, is here primarily just as a light buffer unit. You can't discount that she is a great light support unit, and she also has human killers on her delightful glow. So do keep that in mind. Also, her elemental power light is the new one that is 100% for 3 turns, and so keep that in mind if you have somebody really strong like your Espertivus, and you want him to drop, you know, multiple nukes and still maintain 100% amp for multiple bursts. She might be good for that, so keep that in mind. Some Breaker Imperilers. All right. Kaito, of course, top of the list. Kaito, you know, he not only is he imperiling and has an imperil field for both of the 2 top elements, being water and light. He's got machine killers. He's got breaks. He's got so much utility in his kit. He's got Mirage for the party if you need it. He's got the 90% breaks. He's got so much going on in his kit, and he seems like he features in almost every Clash of Wills these days. So he will be another great unit to bring into this one. If you're looking specifically for a light breaker imperiler, you know, Avon is great. Also Prompto, I don't have Prompto, so that's why I'm not featuring him here, but I will say that Prompto is another great light imperil unit, and he will be on the banner for Celeste, so keep that in mind. Vanille can be a water imperiler with a water imperil field. She's obviously not, you know, she's not the best at that. Metzi would be the better breaker to bring in this case, also on the upcoming banner, so keep that in mind. You know, for more budget breaker imperilers, Lulu is nice in a pinch because she does a 160 imperil. and does a 160 human killer for the party on top of that. So keep that in mind. We've got Lion. Lion is sort of your light breaker with the 160 Imperil. So he's got, you know, the big 160 light Imperil, and he also has human killer at 150% and machine killer at 150% for the party. This is again more intended for like a level 99 clear. You're just trying to kill the boss, and maybe you don't have all the best units. Lion is a good sort of budget option if you picked up one or two of them down the road. Angeal being your sort of budget lightning Imperil breaker, because he does the big breaks with the big 160% lightning Imperil. Okay, so just some sort of budget options there on the killers. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just basically taking into account what I have in my unit inventory. It's one of the reasons why I'm not going to do damage dealers. Damage deal. I just don't have any of the most recent damage dealers. So I don't feel like it's fair for me to go and say, oh yeah, this DPS is good, this DPS is good. But the ones that I've shown you in like my FTKO and my rank 1 clears, those are those are the ones you want to bring. Now, I did build a lightning team in anticipation that I might actually get to use lightning. I don't think I'm going to get to use it. Based on what we saw in the news, that lightning doesn't seal it, and that imbuing the party with lightning doesn't improve your morale. That tells me that lightning is going to be a non-starter. But this was the team that I had originally envisioned, using Elena as the leader so that I could bring lightning, Hio, Frosty, Nora, and of course Sylvie for the 100% lightning amp across the party. But I think this one's just going to be a dream, unless Gumi comes up with something that says, oh hey, we goofed up, sorry. Yes, you can do lightning to seal the counters, and you get morale by imbuing the party with lightning too, or something like that. I doubt they will do that. It seems pretty clear that they want this to be either a water or a light Clash of Wills, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, I think that's pretty much all I want to cover. This video is long enough already. You're probably asleep, or you've already clicked onto something way more exciting. But those of you that did stick with me all the way to the end, thank you so much. If I do decide to pull for Celeste, I of course will do a pull video. Even if I just get her on ad summons and decide to pull for the and decide to pull just for the shards, like the whatever it costs, like however many steps it takes to get her shards from the shard shop. Even if I just do a few steps for that, I'll record those pulls for you guys, because it's been forever since I've done a pull video. And I do kind of miss it. I kind of miss that excitement of doing the pulls and letting you guys kind of watch, and I miss that excitement. It's been kind of dreary without having a pull video to do in a while. So who knows? I might just decide to say F it, and I'm going to pick up a new unit, because if you're not having fun in the game, then do something that makes the game feel a little bit more fun, I guess. Anyways, we'll see. Hopefully her kit turns out to be as good as we all hope it is, and it'll give me good reason to pull for her. So thank you guys so much for following me. I will see you on the other side.